I don't know. Welcome to Fort Beaufort, or just outside of it. I've got Stephen Johnson here with me, and we're going to give a little background of where he started with everything, how they farm over here in East London, or goes to in the Eastern Cape, and we're going to talk about the Boran in particular in this area, and then the upcoming Pioneer uh, Boran sale, and find out what make this sale so unique, and why you should be interested if you're at all interested in the Boran. Stephen, how are you?
Fine, thanks, Janice. Thanks for being here. Good to have you in the Eastern Cape.
Yeah, always lovely to come down this side. Stephen, let's start by introducing people to your history within the Boran, how you got involved, and what made you go down this path.
Cheers. Yeah, it goes all the way back to 2006 when I first saw the cattle when Terry McClintock had his dispersal auction, and unfortunately, I didn't get anything on that auction, and decided to go the embryo route and got hold of Dave Green in those days, the late Dave Green, and bought some embryos from him. But before that, I went up to Natal and had a look at some of his embryo calves and identified a particular calf back then. And that was ZO651, Mr. Million. So he's kind of what got me started in the Boran. And obviously the embryos I got from Dave, yeah. The reason I liked the Boran was because I'd heard about their disease resistance. In particular, where we are, we have a lot of tick-borne diseases, but mainly heart failure. And we used to actually blood all of our calves. So in the past, I had sort of commercial crossbred cattle, and we used to blood them with heart failure blood because we used to lose so many cattle. And after a few years of having these cattle, I realized they were, I don't want to say they're completely resistant, but I haven't had a case of heart water in my crossbreed Borans or my stud cattle since I've been farming. So yeah, disease resistance, ease of calving, probably the main two reasons.
This area, it's almost part of two worlds, almost Karoo, but not quite. Um, how do you describe the area and your grass in the way for you? Could you spot cattle over here?
Just we are sort of on the edge of the Karoo. For those of you that have heard of the small deal, we are sort of on the edge of the small deal, which is known as a good cattle country or good cattle country in the Eastern Cape. And it's low carrying. You wouldn't say so now. We've had a fantastic season. There's grass everywhere, but it's not always like it. It's often very dry. So it can be challenging at times. We're very prone to droughts periodically, like everyone else, I suppose. But yeah, the Boran have done me well. They seem to, or they have thrived in our area. The ability to put on fat, I think, is key. Yeah,
Like you're surviving over here.
yeah, to surviving here. As we all know, fat is key to fertility, and yeah, they've done me well.
In saying that, when you talk about fertility and the way you farm with them, there must be a way you choose your animals that stay behind, and that you choose to breed with and go forward with. Have you changed the way you see them and to choose them since you started to where you are now?
Absolutely. I think, if we don't admit that we made mistakes in the past, I've certainly made some mistakes breeding, of now, I prefer the early maturing animals, in the bulls. I'm sort of banging the same old drum, it's short cannon bones, good heads, width across the back, good hind quarter, good testicles. And I just find that, you can mate those heifers so much earlier, as opposed to the later maturing animals. There's a place for them, definitely. But as far as I'm concerned, it's nothing that I'm looking for. Yeah.
Yeah, you talk about good hiking quarters, and we walked among your sales cattle today. And we looked at the bull, and you can just, and I saw that in one of the young bulls that's like going on sale as well. And then you look at the bull that you actually putting on the sale as well, and you can see the age, just especially if you look at the Boran in the Boran breed, that is a lot of hind quarter there, and it looks like that might be part of what you do here. You look for those qualities.
Absolutely, length of muscle in the hind quarter, but obviously the rest of the animal must be good too. Width through the pins, width through the hip bones, for me is very important. That all goes towards the earlier maturing animals, and obviously the head, as I said, it's one of the most important things for you, in the animals, and obviously length of rump, I particularly like females that have length of rump, from hip bone to pin bone. I just find that they tend to have better udders. The udder formation is better. Yeah, I don't really like the shorter rumped animals. Not for me. You know. So yeah, I've done a few in vitro programs and so on. So I tend to go for those kind of animals. Yeah.
The animals that you chose to put on this auction, you've got a lovely, one or two lovely packages in terms of females. It comes with a calf as well. We walk through them now. But if you look at what you're putting down, once again, you just spoke about that udders, and you see that it's right through every female that on this auction from your side is really, really good quality udders, and that is actually what you want, that milk. You want this fertility, and that's how it comes together, isn't it?
Absolutely. I think it's one of the bronze qualities is the quality of the udders, is something I believe we should focus on, not lose that in the future. So to me, it's very important, that the formation is very good, the small teats, space between the teats. And I believe that, that also comes through with a, as I said, with a length of rump,
You've got something a little bit for, if color wise, for everyone. You've got this lovely white, and I think if they look at the video or the photos and then the catalog, I can tell you now she's a lot more feminine. When I've had her here, the way she walks, she's got that long, thin neck. She's very feminine. But then you look at the other cows; they just carry this. They deep. They carry themselves well, and they looked well balanced. It seems like you're putting up some of your best, yeah.
No, absolutely. Yeah, I think these days you've got to put up your best, to compete and put some good stuff out there for the guys that are starting, yeah, certainly, and I sort of also focus on femininity, because I like them to be feminine. I like the wedges that, everyone speaks about, and, sort of width across the hips is important, but at the same time, they must maintain that femininity through the neck and look feminine. And those are I found in my herd are the ones that breed. Those are the bull breeders, yeah.
You've got the one bull going to the auction, and you used the bull yourself. I'm guessing if you used himself, he's pretty early maturing. I just give you a little bit background on why you think this is something that someone should consider.
Yeah. So I'll go right back to his sire, VST 1580, which is a bull I bought from Quentin developed from Foster, and I liked him because of his head. And he goes back to DLV 1017, which also had a good head, and those heads have come through, which is very important to me. And yeah, he was born, and immediately I could see that there was potential. You often just see them, they're just born with a hump and the early maturity at weaning, at calving, at weaning. And yeah, he maintained himself right through, and that, the short cannon bones, the head, with everything. Yeah, so based on that and based on his parents, yeah, I decided to use him. So I've used him for a couple of years now, and he's done very well for him.
Yeah, he's got enormous head on him, and you see the right through his body as well. He's one of the, if you look at just the width, right through is something special. And does he have calves on the ground already? That you can throw this in? You've done well for me.
Yes, absolutely. I do have quite a few calls on the ground, and I'll put them on social media and in days to come, so the guys can see him. But yeah, and he's bred true to type. You can see the head. The head comes through. I keep on hopping on about the head, but yeah, they come through nicely.
Thank you for talking to me. Thank you for having me. And yeah, good luck with your sale.
Thank you, Tinus, and yeah, and your pleasure. Look forward to seeing you again sometime.
Yeah. Okay, so we will see you down here at East London on the 2nd of May, and that is on the Friday at 5 o'clock. Make sure you get down here. If you can't, use Meerkat Online Auctions. They will be in their full glory, as always, and making sure that they can help you buy what you need and not what is left over. And we're talking genetics, and genetics have a price. Until next time, cheers.